Hey, Megan. Hello.
I don't think she can hear you yet.
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it says connecting to audio. So yeah.
Who's talking to me right now?
Jay Macklin.
Jay from Jay's iPhone. Is that who that
Yeah.
is?
Yes.
I'll figure this out.
Who is that?
Doing.
Megan, hello.
Still can hear you.
Yeah. That's all right. How you doing, Jay? You holding up okay?
Yes, I am doing. I'm doing okay.
Good. You still in Columbia? Or are you home or?
Columbia, we get to leave today though after our football meeting.
Oh, okay. So I was bummed. I was ready to come to that spring game.
I know, and we were hyped for it.
I know. Okay. Wait just a couple more minutes and then I'll get started. If you're having trouble connecting or you can't hear me or something, please utilize the chat feature so that we can make sure that. Also, as I said, I'm recording this and I'll convert it to a YouTube link and post that in case folks can't get on or miss something or whatever. So let's see here.
Yeah, they do it pretty good, don't they? Alabama is always like so generic in like all their uniforms, but that uniform is fire though.
Hey, they can be generic if they keep on winning though, for real.
Who's that?
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Theater Now. I know we're in this crazy time, and so I appreciate you all jumping on here. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you for taking the survey. It's very helpful for me and my colleagues to know kind of where students are. And but that survey was anonymous, so some people share that they are having some concerns. So if you would please reach out to me so that I can be of help to you, that would be really great. So, okay, we're going to back up a little bit from where we started the other day. We started talking about design. This should be review if you were in class, ha ha ha. There we go. We talked about design. We talked about it being intentional, that there's no neutral choices when it comes to design. Everything indicates something else. So we talked about what words come to mind when we talk about design. We talked about fashion design. We talked about, art, and we talked about lots of different things when it comes to that word. And we talked about why design exists. Can everyone see the PowerPoint? Everybody could give me a shout out if you're unmuted.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I see it.
Awesome. Thank you all. So we talked about how design, the world is made up of symbols that communicate information and organize our experiences. Symbols and their design serve different goals, often intersecting goals. Function, practicality, we talked about stop signs, crosswalk signs, clocks, things that are designed, but they have an actual function to them. Cultural aesthetics. These conjure emotions, history, social status. We talked about the example we used in class. Under cultural aesthetics, color, specific imagery, we talked about folks wearing any kind of clothing or hoodie or something that indicates possibly a sorority or fraternity that they're in. Anytime we wear any Mizzou gear, any gear that, indicates any kind of club or group or event that we attended, that really is those cultural aesthetics. So we've got function, we've got cultural aesthetics. The third is psychology. And again, as the previous slide said, some of these will intersect. So certain things might not just be in one category, they might be in multiple categories. And then psychology, or they organize human behavior. Crosswalks, product placement in stores. We talked about how like the most expensive cereal is like in the middle usually, and then like the Walmart discount brand is lower. We talked about in aisles where there are toys or things for kids, they're always on those lower shelves. Those kids can reach them and ask their folks to buy them for them, or a grandma or whatever. So, so those are, all of those choices are very, very intentional. We talked about vocabulary of design, color and line, color palette, then line and shape, mass, composition, texture, rhythm, and we used our classroom, even though it's not super inspiring, we used it as an example of what that communicates. And we talked about how the desks are bolted to the floor and what that design element, what message is that sending? All right, we talked through the painting. This is the Gulf Stream. And we talked about their sharks and the vibe of the character in the play, in the painting. And we talked about how there's a storm and the character in the painting seems very chill or resigned to their fate. And so as we go through these paintings, we're talking about how the artist designed or created the painting to share a certain message. We talked about this businessman, his neck is really stiff. We felt like that meant he was really stiff, and that he's all about time. We've got the receipts on the desk, we've got the phone, we've got the ink wells for him to dip the pen in and to write things. We've got the calendar, we've got the clock. Got the flyer of whatever that he's holding of whatever event or ad or whatever. So he's very self-important, and we talked about that was sort of the vibe of this painting. We talked through this one. We talked about especially how the pants are painted. It looks as though it's velvet, and so there really is that texture that's built into this design, which is one of the design elements that we talked through. We talked about the clothing, we talked about who we feel like this person is, her vibe, and she's pretty fancy. I love this painting. So this is a new one. This is Samay. And so kind of take a look at this for a second. If you're unmuted, please feel free to jump in here and let me know what you think about this painting. It's kind of strange. It's got, what do you think? Go for it.
I don't know what's going on.
It sort of looks like a kid's like creation and like arts and crafts classes.
Yeah, it sure does. It looks like they took a bunch of those pre-cut foam things and just like put them on top of each other, right? Like there's a
Facts.
kind of a layering
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts? I don't want to cut anyone off here. Oh, whoops, sorry. I clicked the wrong thing. It's weird that it's got these math symbols in it, but then word, like any There's an X and O, which can mean tic-tac-toe, which can mean hugs and kisses, right? If you've ever seen anyone sign off with XO. So
Mhm.
it's sending a lot of different messages. I think the color choices in this are interesting. And I don't know. What kind of feeling does this painting evoke? Anybody?
Hmm.
Any feelings? That's all right if it doesn't. I just want
I
to
kind of feel happiness.
happiness. Why do you feel happiness?
I don't know. Just the XOs is what's killing me. It's
So
kind of like
nice.
hugs and kisses. That's all I see them as.
That's all you get. Well, we've even got like the fish symbol there, right? That blue at the bottom, which I think is interesting. It looks like a fish to me. Um, we've got an 8 at the bottom. We've got like that green and white polka dot. We've got black and pink polka dot. It's just, it's really, really interesting.
It looks like someone's eating on the top right.
It looks like they're eating. Oh, it does. I see it. You guys are so smart.
I didn't even
Like
see
the
that.
orange at the mouth,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, I see that. I see that. This really doesn't make me feel a whole lot. I agree. It looks like a young child tried to do a collage and they, you know, so that's valuable, but it's not, I don't know. It's interesting. It's not, it is what it is. How about that? Okay, so then let's go to the next one. So here we are. This one's called Night Creatures. And it was painted in 1965. Lee Krasner, American artist. Tell me what you see.
I see a dinosaur.
You see a dinosaur where?
Yeah, I wish I could show you. It's kind of like to the left.
Okay. What kind of
Um,
dinosaur?
What is it? The big one with the long
T-Rex?
tail.
Oh,
Yeah, T-Rex.
T-Rex.
It's kind of
Okay.
it's to the left, kind of to the bottom a little bit.
Okay. I
Kinda
don't
like that
see it,
big.
but that's okay. If you see it, that's all right. Anybody else see anything?
I see owls.
Yeah. Owls, right?
I see a lion.
Owls. What owls at?
Man, look at the eyes. Look at the big eyes.
In the upright, and I don't, there's no pointer. Well, what's this annotate button?
I see like a lion.
Ah, here we go. Like, can you see that? There's the owl right there. You guys see? Oh, crap. I just screwed it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, use your mouse. Go down left.
Okay.
Down, a little more. To the right a little bit. You see it right there? Right there. Yep.
That's the T-Rex?
That's a T-Rex.
Man,
Can you guys see it? I don't see a T-Rex, but I believe
like a
you.
person smiling.
I believe you. If you see a T-Rex,
I see a person smiling.
okay.
Like go over.
Yeah.
It's like keep going over. It's like 2 eyes. No,
Okay.
like to your left. That's a lot. Right. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Now go under. Go down some. Right there.
Oh, I
Like
see it.
2
I
eyes.
see it. I see it.
Okay.
Smiling with the nose.
Okay. I'm taking your word for it.
I see it.
So why do you think this painting is called Night Creatures?
Because you see eyes.
Right. So it's like you look out your back porch, right? If you're out in the country somewhere and all you see is eyes, right? If you've ever been camping or something like that, that might be the case. The longer I always look at this painting, the scarier it sort of gets. It does feel like they're looking at you, which is kind of a weird feeling. I love that you all saw different things in it, because I think that is one thing that's interesting about design and creativity, especially when it comes to paintings, is that, and theater really is the same way, is that we form our own opinions. We form our own observations based on our experiences. So we all have different lenses through which we look at things, and those lenses determine how we look at the world and how we interpret design. So that's our design. That's general design. Now we're going to go to some very specific theater design thing. So this is definitely new information. So we're going to talk about scenic design. And scenic design is design that is set design. So if you come see a show and you see a set, that is called scenic design. All right. And scenic design has two objectives. The first is to communicate a time period and location through a visual world. So when the play is set, when and where the play is set, provides clues about who lives in this world and helps the audience understand what to expect. So unfortunately, most of you did not get to see Votes for Women, but as a audience member, when you entered the room and sat down and saw the set, you knew that there was going to be people giving speeches, for example, because there were some podiums on the set, right? So that's just one example of how the scenic design gives you a cue as an audience member of what is going to happen. It kind of looks like an old-fashioned courtroom, okay? So it's giving you a time period, it wasn't set on Mars, it wasn't set in present-day New York City or anything like that. The scenic design helped you as the audience and then the actors understand the world that they were going to inhabit. All right. So a specific time period and a specific location. That's one of the most important objectives that a scenic design does. All right. The second is scenic design communicates the level of reality of the production. And so some things are going to be real. They're going to feel like real world things, So you take, we watch Pipeline play in class. That's very real. It's very much based in reality. It looked like, a contemporary waiting room, a hospital, or a classroom, or, it was very real. Some things are going to be non-realism, right? So we talked about that production. We talked about Frozen on Broadway. So that is definitely non-realism. I mean, if ice is going to come flying out of some woman's arms and hands, that's not real. I'm sorry to upset you all, but that doesn't happen, right? So the thing, now that was a joke. Come on now, come on, work with me. This is a little crazy. Into this camera here. Thank you for the courtesy laugh. That was funny. Anyway, so you can see scenic design puts us in that place. It would be like any kind of movie, right? If you watch any of the Star Wars franchise, what happens scenically, what happens with the set and what they design as far as the environment, that tells us as the audience exactly where we are, right? And the rules of that world. So if you're going to go to the movie theater and you're going to see a Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy or a Black Panther, any of the Transformer movies, you walk in knowing that it's not real. Your brain, even if you don't realize it, clicks over and goes, okay, I'm going to buy into the world of this movie. So when, a machine transforms on its own and a robot starts talking, you don't go, well, that's not real. Well, of course it's not, but you've bought into the rules of the world of that particular show or play or musical or whatever. So what we call suspend your disbelief. You buy into the rules of that particular world. And the scenic design in theater really, really helps the audience and the people involved in the show to really be able to buy into that. Okay. So we can alter levels of reality by adjusting the principles of design. And again, here's another list. Not another, but a reiteration of the list. Color, line, shape, mass composition, texture, and rhythm. Okay, so here's a scenic rendering design for Hamilton, okay? And what we can see from this is there's levels, right? There's stairs, there's two sets of stairs that we can see. There are also sets of stairs off stage, what we would call escape steps in theater, where actors can exit into the wing and then come back on in a different way. We also see that there is what we would call a revolve, or something that turns, right? So we've got the two figures standing in the middle. And what happens is that middle circle that they're standing on, the small one moves, then there's another ring that moves, and then there's a third ring that moves. So it really is a triple revolve. And those three rotating platform areas can turn either clockwise or counterclockwise. So there's a lot of options when it comes to locking and things like that. We've got lanterns hanging, right? So we see light. We've got, this is the wedding scene, I believe. This is also called a model. So what scenic designers do, and Professor Mimi Hedges, who's our resident scene designer professor here in the theater department, she always creates a model. And so it's a miniature version of what the set is going to look like. It helps in meetings, it helps in planning, it helps in rehearsal. We're going to talk about directors after spring break. Really helps directors visualize how the actors and the scenery and the furniture are going to move on stage. So these models are really, really helpful. But because of how the two fake figures there are dressed, we know the time period. We'll talk about costumes in a second. What else do you think about this set? What does this particular set for Hamilton, what cues and clues does it send to you as an audience member? Anybody? Does it look old-fashioned?
Yeah.
Why? I agree, but why? Say again? Wood. It's all wood. Yeah. Yeah. The materials that are used, right? And that brick and the ropes, right? Because there's some scenes that in Hamilton that refer to being on a ship. So the ropes really help that idea of that you're, raising a sail or lowering a sail or raising or lowering an anchor.
Are those lights hanging?
You're gonna have to talk louder, sorry.
Are those lights hanging from the ceiling?
They are. Those are lanterns that are hanging for this particular scene. I believe this is Eliza and Hamilton's wedding. So that's why you see all of the candles in the background. I don't know if you can see those platforms in the back. They're all different size and shapes of candles. So the lanterns come in and it gives this romantic and formal kind of setting for the wedding scene when they get married. All right. So then this is another scenic design. This is another rendering, which is just a picture of what the set is going to look like. Tell me what you think would, if you had to set maybe a movie or something on this, tell me what you think would fit onto this. What kind of show do you think would work really well on this? First of all, what kind of theater setting is it? What kind of space? Is it arena? Is it thrust? What is it?
It's not arena or thrust. I don't think so.
So then what would it be, y'all?
What's that? Is it the
Proscenium?
proscenium?
Proscenium, right?
Look at this. Look at this. This is impressive. Guys are so good. Yes, so it's proscenium. So what do you, tell me what you see.
Tree branches.
Clouds. Clouds. What else?
I definitely do think that it gives the impression that it is on a ship.
Yeah, why?
Because you can see like that, I don't really know how to describe it, but like that little pillar in the back. Like,
yeah.
And the like tattered pieces of fabric.
Yeah, like the sails. Yep. The post you're talking about is a mast. That's what you're talking about. So it feels like a ship, but there's trees, right? So it's kind of what it's, for me, what it's telling us is that we're inhabiting two different worlds, right? Two different worlds. We've got the sea and ship, but we've also got woods and land, right? Also in the back, this here looks like kind of a balcony, right? You kind of look off like it's some big English estate or some big English castle, and you're looking off into the distance. We also have this background here that's painted, and there's trees on that. So we've got the trees here on the sides that are three-dimensional, and we've got the two-dimensional ones painted on the backdrop. What kind of vibe does that give you?
It looks kind of ancient and goddess to me.
Okay, yeah, there is a real sense of, yeah, totally, like almost like ancient Greece kind of vibe. That makes sense. What else?
Sort of like, it looks like that rail leads like up to a castle or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
When
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
when you first said like what movie, I was thinking like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a castle, there's woods. Absolutely, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that. For scenic designers, when they put three-dimensional things and then also paint two-dimensional, it gives a sense that those woods go on and on beyond what we can see. It's almost like we're looking into that picture, that proscenium arch-like frame, and it's as though it goes on forever, right? That concept is called forced perspective, because the trees are further out on the sides here, and then they start to go in, right? So they're out, and then they go in like this, and that forces our perspective as an audience member to look into the scenic design, and it helps us, gives us a depth to the scenic design that we would not have otherwise. So forced perspective is really important. All right, and then we've got this third one I want you to look at. This is a model, and tell me what kind of show you feel like, play, musical, television show, movie, that you feel like would work on this particular set.
The first thing that I thought of was kind of like a fashion show.
Oh, okay, like a runway? Ooh, I love that. That's a great idea. Awesome. What else? Anybody else? Let me ask you this. Are you going to have a lot of scenery coming in and out of this set from the wings or the sides?
No.
Okay,
No.
right? So this is what we call a unit set, which means it doesn't change. It stays the same. Now, you can indicate different locations by, let's say, a bench here or moving a chair here or something like that. You could bring, you know, a stool or something on, but probably in this scenic design, people are just going to use the levels and sit and stand and move in different ways on the levels that are already built in to this particular scenic design. Unit sets are good for plays, musicals that have lots of locations, that in theater, it would be really challenging to show all of those. So if you do a unit set and then just add small pieces here and there to help the audience know where they are, it can be a lot more successful. Plays and musicals with lots of locations, if you try to fully realize every location, it can get very confusing for the audience. So, okay. All right, I think we're gonna stop for today. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything at all?
No.
Did anyone have any trouble getting on here? How are you guys doing as far as, you know, using the technology? You can hear me and see me. Everything is clear.
I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So that other play, Mighty Soul, right?
Yes.
So is that going to be canceled, or
We don't know. The teams are meeting today. Did you guys get the updated syllabus I sent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in there it says we don't know what's going to happen. So the people, the production team, which would be the director and the scenic designer, all the people we're talking about, the costume designer, our chair, they're meeting today. And then they're going to let us know what the plan is. We are hoping that we can do a live stream of it or a recorded version of it. And then I would be able to share that with you all so you can at least see it. And then the students that are involved in it would still have the chance to, of course, you know, put on the show, even if we can't have an audience. So now if for some reason we can't do it, if something happens and we can't do it, then I'll do what I did with the other two things that I sent you. I'll find another show online that you'll watch and write a response to. So that'll be the plan for that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Other questions? Did anyone not get the syllabus, the updated syllabus?
Maybe I just didn't see it. Maybe I'll just have to look for it.
Okay, I posted it on Canvas with an attachment. It's in the announcements.
Okay.
So, as I said at the beginning, the survey that I sent out is anonymous. So if you all have food insecurity, if you don't have a place to stay, if there's concerns that you're having, and some of you posted notes, I don't know who it is, I need for you to reach out to me so I can be of help. If you're having problems with something and you posted in the notes of that survey, I don't know who you are. So, so please reach out. We are here. Campus is open. The library is open. Residence halls are open. Dining is open. Offices are open. We are here to be of help to you. So please don't hesitate. Okay? Everybody cool?
Yeah.
All right. I will see you on Wednesday at the same time, okay? Thank you all.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
All right, you too.